Thank you. Thank you, Hugh, for the introduction, for your leadership and economic development in our state, and for your friendship. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the welcome, but more importantly, thank you for the incredible work that you're doing. We do economic development in this state as a team. We do it as jointly being motivated to see the growth of our state, more people employed, more jobs in our community, more growth, because we recognize in a changing society there's going to be downturns and upswings, and if we're not constantly churning jobs and bringing in jobs and new enterprises and competing in the tough world that is out there, then we're not going to be successful for our communities. Mike Preston, who is here, I know he'll be presenting a little bit later, has done an incredible job for us. He's been a great partner. He's been in your communities, and he's talked about his calls with you where we have that team effort, where he talks about what we're doing, listens to your concerns, and we're delighted to have that partnership. We as a state cannot be successful without you. And so thank you for what you're doing. I want you to know I've been feeling really lucky lately. I went to the New York Stock Exchange and I rang the bell, and the stock market went up. It went up twice since the last time, well, it went down after that. But they need to bring me back every once in a while. But I was up there promoting Arkansas, delighted to do that. Great opportunity to meet with site selection consultants there, as well as other business contacts, and promote this state. And then most recently I went to the SHOT Show in Las Vegas. And of course there is one of the greatest venues for the outdoor sports, and the firearm manufacturers and ammunition folks are there. And I was delighted to bring back the announcement that Sig Sauer, for the first time, is going to be located in Jacksonville, Arkansas. I love meeting with the CEO. And by the way, Hugh mentioned that I made a pledge that on my first day in office I would make a half a dozen calls to CEOs. I did that, and guess what? Sig Sauer was one of the calls on the first day. And so Sig Sauer, plant that seed. A year later at the SHOT Show, I'm interrupted when I'm making the announcement of creating 50 jobs in Jacksonville by locating a high premium manufacturing facility for ammunition. He says, no, 75 plus jobs. And so I like being interrupted by a CEO when he corrects me and increases the number of jobs that are being created. We're excited to have them. Remington Arms also announced the expansion at the same time of their facility. That is another 80 jobs that will be created. So delighted with the growth, the success of those trips. And then, of course, I came back, and I don't know how you all celebrated the Chinese Lunar New Year last night, but we celebrated it. We had the Consul General from China, from Houston, in. We invited him in as our guest to celebrate the Chinese Lunar New Year. But of course, we did it to promote Arkansas and to build that relationship. And so it's about being overseas. It's about building those relationships and advertising, marketing Arkansas, but it is the follow-up, it is the intensive development of relationships, confidence in this state, marketing this state, and we enjoyed that, but also hopefully that will be a successful effort as well. And of course, none of this has anything to do with luck. It is about strategy. It is about having the right strategy and implementing it and working on it every day. And my strategy is simple. My strategy that as a state, we need to grow the private sector of our economy more than the government sector of our economy. Fundamental principle, fundamental objective, it's a value that I have. And so if you want to grow the economy, the private sector of our economy, we work hard to have an efficient state government. We work hard to have a competitive tax structure. We work hard to reduce the burden of regulations on business. We work hard to send a signal that we are a friendly state when it comes to partnering with business to grow and expand industry. And that's the message that we have conveyed. It is a successful message. It is a competitive message. Grow the private sector of our economy. What are the results? We've had a $100 million reduction of our income tax rate in Arkansas, beginning with the middle income folks. We have maintained the growth in the private sector of our economy. We have created 38,000 new jobs since I became governor. Now, I always have the philosophy it happens on your watch, take credit for it. But we also know that that's because of an expanding economy nationally, because our economy, we're building confidence, but it's also some good things that we've done in this state, from 122 new incentive agreements, 5,000 new jobs from those incentive agreements that AEDC has entered into. It's the result that we now have, for the first time in a long time, less than 5% unemployment rate, down to 4.8%. More people in Arkansas are working. We've saved $2.5 million in efficiency efforts, one of which is our hiring freeze. That alone, our hiring freeze in state government, has resulted in a $2.5 million savings. I have the philosophy that little things, small things matter in government and in management. It does in the private sector, it does in the public sector as well. And so those are some of the things that we've done, but there is more that we need to do in this state. And I need your support for the highway plan. It's a good plan. It is an initiative that will give us another economic development tool. It follows on the federal highway bill that allocated up to $250 million a year of new federal monies into this state for highway construction, so long as we can match it. And the matching funds are $40 to $50 million each year that we will need. It begins this September, and so my highway plan that I announced allocates $46 million this year, primarily of $40 million unallocated reserve money, surplus money, that we will put toward our highway program. It is the first time that we have taken the step of utilizing surplus money and a general revenue stream to support our highways. It's a modest amount, but it is sufficient each year to match the federal highway funds. It really amounts to $750 million over 10 years of state revenues that'll go to highways. So even though it starts modestly and it's a modest amount of state revenues, over time it makes a huge difference to our highways. It results in additional efficiencies. It is going to happen without any reduction of services to education, taking care of our prison population, our Medicaid budget. So it's a good plan. I ask that you support that, and we'll be presenting that in one of the special sessions this year. The key part of that plan, though, is that we have $40 million of surplus. We've managed our budget carefully to accomplish that, but we need to make sure that we can have a good health care plan in order to maximize the savings to our states, so we don't have to take that surplus and apply it to the health care needs of our state or other budget needs. And so it's all tied together very carefully, both in the special session that we'll have on our health care legislation, with the fiscal session followed by the highway special session. All ties together to make sure that we have a balanced budget, we meet the needs of our state, we have a strong highway program in this state, and we have a health care reform that will result in more savings, more work incentives, and also meeting the budget needs of our state. And so that leads me to another key objective that I have, and that is, one, right-sizing DHS, if I might phrase it that way, but also putting the efficiencies in the Medicaid budget that we need, and to have the new leader that is key for our state at the Department of Human Services. And so yesterday I was pleased to announce Cynthia Gillespie, who will be my new director of DHS. Cindy is a dynamo when it comes to healthcare reform, but also I said at the very beginning we needed someone to manage our largest state agency, someone with managing experience, complicated processes and programs, and she not only has been Governor Mitt Romney's healthcare advisor and his national healthcare advisor, but also she was one of the key officials to manage the Salt Lake City Olympics and to bring it from disaster to success. And if you read Mitt Romney's book on turning it around, he talks about Cindy Gillespie as being one of the keys to that success. She brings great management experience, business acumen, as well as a passion for kids. And that's what we need as a leader in DHS. And so I was delighted to make that announcement yesterday. And I look forward to working with the legislature to make sure that she's confirmed in that position as well. And so she will help us. She'll come on board March 1. But one of the things that is important for me, and that is that in Arkansas we put people to work. Why is that so critical? Because there's dignity in work. If people are working, they are meeting a basic fundamental human need. We have many human needs, and one of those is we're put here to work and to make a difference and to provide for our families. And people in Arkansas want to have that work. And so we want to recognize that value in our healthcare system. And all of our social programs in Arkansas should be assistance to move up the economic ladder. They should be the safety net to make sure that people have the cushion during tough times, to have the assistance when they have adverse health consequences. But if you're able-bodied, if you're on the expanded Medicaid, we want those people to move up that economic ladder. So the whole concept of my reform that I am going to be presenting, that is called Arkansas Works, it does about 4 different things that are very, very important. First of all, it does incentivize work. We want to put a mandatory work referral requirement, and if they're not working, to put them in worker training. And so that if you're in that expanded Medicaid population, we want you to go train for work. And we want to incentivize that. And that's a value that is very important, and we're going to outline more of those details as we get closer. Secondly, it is important to have individual responsibility. And so those that are on the Medicaid expansion, they're making above 100% of the federal poverty level, then they need to pay, just like you're on the exchange, 2% of your income for premium cost. Modest amount, but it gives you an investment. You're 100%, you're above the federal poverty level. We want to make sure they're personally invested in health care. We hope that we can provide incentives so they do their wellness check and have a healthy, active Arkansas lifestyle. Then we want to, in addition, encourage the utilization of employer-based insurance versus government insurance. And so if you're in a small business and you have employees and you're providing health care insurance for them, right now some of those employees may qualify for expanded Medicaid. And they say, I think we're going to reject the employer-based insurance and get off the employer policy because we don't want to have to pay the copay and the monthly premium, no matter how modest it is, because Medicaid pays it all. And so we want to mandate, if employer insurance is available, move off the government insurance and onto the employer insurance. That helps our employers have a better pool. It saves us money. And that's one of the waivers that I presented to Secretary Burwell that I think will help encourage employer-based insurance. And while we need government-based insurance as a safety net, we want these people to move up the economic ladder, and that's an assistance and a goal to do that. And finally, we want program integrity. We want to get to the point that as people move up the income ladder, they actually move off Medicaid programs. And that's the objective. It's to incentivize work, it's to put people to work, and that's why I've called that initiative Arkansas Works. I think it typifies the values of Arkansas, and it also sets the objectives of that program. That's important. That'll be debated this year. I need your help on that. And then I know that you talked about today a couple of amendments that's going to be on the ballot. And I just wanted to add my voice and reminder to you that those are important. The Economic Development Amendments, SJR 16, that does a couple simple things. Clarifies our Amendment 82 process and the bonding provisions so we can maximize that as a resource to bring the large super projects into Arkansas. And then secondly, it empowers local government in economic development efforts. Very simple message, very clear. We need you to engage and educate your local communities on that amendment, as well as the second Economic Development Amendment that actually empowers me to continue as governor as I'm doing economic development missions across the globe for the benefit of this state. So 2 amendments we hope that we can have your support on. I've never been more excited about the opportunities ahead for us as a state, economically, as well as in terms of progress in education, improving our workforce that we're working diligently on every day, to really reforming state government so that it is responsive to the needs of industry, growth, and that they're not a challenge for us or a difficulty for us as we try to grow our economy. Whenever I leave here today, I'll have another one of my calls with a CEO internationally to say, come to Arkansas. So it was not just something I did on the first day on the job, but it's something that we want to continue to do throughout the time as governor. You're good partners with us. And finally, I want to make an announcement today. And that announcement is that we're launching a new brand direction for our economic development efforts in this state. It is called Arkansas Inc. I like the message. It is the right message. When you're in Arkansas, you're in good company. And I think this new logo deserves a good round of applause. That's a simple message that communicates everything that we're trying to accomplish in this state. We will act quickly and efficiently. We will have a versatile workforce that we are training for the jobs of tomorrow. We will have perfect location in the center of the country logistically to move products around the globe. We have 7 homegrown Fortune 500 companies, including the world's largest retailer. We have a lot to be proud of here in Arkansas, and the Arkansas Inc. campaign will reflect the pride we have in our state. So congratulations to the AEDC team for this initiative. I know that Mike will be talking about that a little bit later, but I'm delighted to make this announcement today in the presence of the Economic Development team. Thank you very much.